Make no mistake about it, this World Cup trophy has been living rent-free in the minds of the English media, currently fueling the grandest commercial delusion in football history. On every London tabloid, they are painting this poetic picture of the Three Lions lifting the 2026 World Cup, with a level of arrogance that is minus historically pathetic. And quite frankly, looking at their 4th place FIFA ranking and the sheer price tags on this roster, I understand why they've lost their minds. On paper, this isn't a football team. This is a $1.5 billion squad, about 1.15 billion pounds. They've got Jude Bellingham, the Ballon d'Or PR machine of Real Madrid, Phil Foden, the Premier League player of the season, and Cole Palmer, the man carrying Chelsea on his back. But look past the marketing hype and Prada billboards. Thomas Tuchel, the dictatorial Prussian tactician, has just dropped an absolute bombshell by completely excluding both Phil Foden and Cole Palmer from the final 26-man World Cup roster to North America. Today, we are stepping onto the tactical board to expose exactly why this extreme decision by the German manager is dragging the Three Lions into an unmitigated disaster, a train wreck that was forecasted from miles away. Let's start with the incredible strength the London press keeps yelling about. Their perfect, unbeaten qualifying run in Group K with 8 straight clean sheets sounds like an absolute powerhouse, doesn't it? But in reality, let's look at the facts. The list of teams England played in qualifying was nothing more than a main sheet vacation package for stat padding against football minnows like Latvia, Andorra, and Albania. Are you kidding me? And to understand Tuchel's brutal selection, you have to look at the Mind Club context of the stars who got axed. Phil Foden endured a massive decline in his 25-26 season at Manchester City, his goals and assists cratered, and he lost his starting spot. Cole Palmer also lost that explosive carrying capacity and consistency at Chelsea. When these superstars stop performing at the club level, putting themselves on fraud watch,
It's coming home. Football's coming home. We'll go on.
Tuchel had all the leverage to freeze them out. The moment this team faces actual high-pressing opponents, these multi-billion-dollar joggers completely lose their way. Just look at the data. Back in June 2025, they dropped an absolute disaster class. Losing 1-3 to Senegal. That was England's first defeat under Thomas Tuchel. In March 2026, they were held to a toothless 1-1 draw against Uruguay.
No vías de salida. Espinalita. Fuerte, muy fuerte Araujo. Lo agarra más en el pie que en el tobillo, me parece.
And then came the ultimate humiliation, a shocking 0-1 home defeat at Wembley to Japan on March 31st, even in their World Cup opener on June 17th, despite a 4-2 win against Croatia. Tuchel's makeshift defense was completely exposed, leaking like a moat-broken faucet and conceding 2 incredibly easy goals. Now, let's look at the tactical board to see the mind structural cancer that is eating this team alive. Thomas Tuchel is not compromising with creative artists who want positional freedom. Excluding Foden, Palmer, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, who plays for Real Madrid, was a deliberate choice to force the squad into a rigid defensive block. The Prussian tactician wants his wingers to be workhorses, forcing Morgan Rogers and Noni Madueke to hug the touchline and track back for 90 minutes.
That day, for no particular reason, I decided to go for a little run.
But when Declan Rice and Kobbie Mainoo ran out of gas in the midfield, what did Nudisco do to patch the leak? He called up 36-year-old veteran Jordan, thinking he could let him cook in the middle of the park. A player who has been playing in the Retirement League with Brentford since July 2025. Of course, everyone remembers prime Jordan Henderson, the Steel captain who ran endlessly to lift the Champions League, and Premier League trophies for Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. But that is ancient history. a midfielder whose prime is long gone, now tasked with anchoring the middle of the park of a World Cup favorite. Predictably, Henderson's physical collapse in the second half left the engine room completely empty. The result: England's playstyle has turned into a boring track and field event. Zero creativity. Harry Kane is constantly roasted by former legends like Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer for his lazy pressing and dropping way too deep. Kane dropping deep to clog Bellingham's space means the team has literally zero presence in the penalty box, turning their star striker into a tactical deadweight. And over on the left flank, young Nico Riley is forced to play out of position as a makeshift left back. In the Croatia match, the Croatian youngsters Martin Baturina and Petar Musa smelled blood, constantly targeting O'Reilly's flank, leaving a space so massive a Boeing 777 could land safely and scoring 2 easy goals in the first half. It was Sunday League defending so bad. It had Jordan Pickford screaming at his own defenders on live television, with 2 of England's most creative superstars sitting at home. Watching the World Cup on their couches, the locker room has officially become a ticking time bomb. Tuchel's dictatorial style was on full display when he locked the squad down in Kansas City just to escape the London media. And when right back Tino Graham took out injured right before the tournament, did he call up Trent Alexander-Arnold? No. He called up Chelsea's Trevoh Chalobah, instead completely blanking the Real Madrid star. The London media is in a frenzy calling the German manager an outside saboteur. The squad is split right down the middle, those who obey Tuchel's law and those who are secretly rebelling. And here comes the ultimate media hypocrisy, scapegoat detected. To protect the massive commercial value of stars like Bellingham or Kane, the press needs a managed sacrificial lamb, and they've chosen Kobbie Mainoo, Nico O'Reilly, and Jordan Henderson. They are getting absolutely slaughtered in the papers for a lack of elite creativity and being too old, when in reality, these are the players running 11 to 12 kilometers a game to sweep up the mess, while the big-name stars are enjoying a leisurely stroll on the pitch. Make no mistake about it, this is an unfair systemic compromise. Just look at Nico O'Reilly, a promising young talent stepping out of the Manchester City Academy, whose biggest dream was to wear the Three Lions shirt at the world's biggest football stage. To obey Tuchel, he accepted playing out of position, slotting into a makeshift left-back role he had never mastered. He ran, sweated, and covered over 12 kilometers in the North American heat just to clean up the mess for his superstar teammates strolling ahead. Yet, when the final whistle blew, instead of praise for his dedication, he was thrown to the mole wolves of the London press, branded as the sole culprit for Croatia's 2 goals. That is not just a tactical failure, that is the cruelty of modern football, where the brand value of billionaires is protected by the blood of children.